Hello everyone. Welcome on in. We've got class underway and we are building a knitting classroom today in The Sims 4. I'm Velvet. I am a streamer and YouTuber from New Zealand and I'm a big lover of The Sims 4. So this build was for the Newcrest Community Collab, which is a collaboration where we created a whole lot of different classrooms to create like a little university. And this was hosted by Rainbow Cat Mom, so thank you for hosting a fabulous collaboration. And I am building a knitting classroom. So I really just delved into the depths of the Nifty Knitting Stuff Pack. I just went wild on it. I don't get to play around with this pack all that often, so it was really nice to actually get a little deep dive into this pack and pulling all the little bits and pieces out and just really seeing what was in there. It was a lot of fun. I didn't really know how I wanted to lay this out as I was starting. I kind of had a few ideas. I'd been thinking about it for a while. And I knew I really wanted to focus on the Nifty Knitting pack. It just lends itself to that pack. It's a knitting class, makes sense to have all the knitted stuff, right? And I kind of felt like I did want to have a cozy fireplace nook for the class. So, you know, how, I don't know, in my head when I'm thinking about knitting, I'm thinking it's a cool evening and you've got the fireplace on and you're kind of in a rocking chair or this cozy sofa and you're snuggled up by the fire and you're clickety clacketing with your knitting needles and it's just all very cozy. So in my head, having a little nook where you could sit by the fire in this class and you could really sort of dive into what the knitting vibe is all about. That's what I'd sort of felt like that knitting corner was going to be about, the real hardcore knitting vibe where you're just all cozy by the fire in your cottage or wherever and it's just all lovely and so pretty. And then, yeah, I just wanted to have maybe like a little bit more of a classroom feel to it. Like it's kind of a casual class. Like I feel it's like quite creative and it lends itself to being like really colorful. I feel like the pack itself is actually really colorful and just diving into color made a lot of sense. As you can see, the wallpaper's changing quite a lot. I got there eventually. And I didn't want to go too busy on the walls because I was adding a lot of stuff to the walls as the build went on. So I felt like a plainer wall kind of worked to really highlight the knitted items a little bit more. The other thing that I did was I really dived into the debug items that we got with the Nifty Knitting pack. Like there's a lot of debug items in there. So if you've never really explored the debug items, aka the hidden items in that pack, worthwhile because there's a lot of like little stuffed things and little knitted things and bits and pieces in there that like little cute little toys and stuff for kids and stuff. Really adorable. So yeah, anyway, worth looking in those if you haven't looked before in the Nifty Knitting debug. Lots of stuff in there, lots of good stuff. So yeah, just creating like a cozy effect was kind of the idea of what I had in my head, and just like knitted stuff absolutely everywhere. You know, it's just all about knitting in this class, and it's got to feel comfortable because I feel like knitting is one of those things where you want to be comfortable when you're doing it. You know, and anything that I could find that was kind of knitted, I went through all the clutter and just pulled out some bits and pieces that I felt would be appropriate. And I'm just doing like some school bags with the coat rack over there. You know, they've just sort of come in and they've dumped their stuff at the door and they're going to sit down with their knitting needles and, you know, get their knit on. That's the whole idea. And it's a very cozy class and they're going to sit there and she's going to instruct and do a bit of mentoring at the board and run the class and bits and pieces. And they're just going to sit around and have a natter while they clickety clack and make some cute little knit things. And that's basically the whole idea of the class. I was initially going to go with the plainer curtains, but I felt like a patterned curtain would work better in this room. Just because I had a plain wallpaper, I felt like I could kind of get away with the pattern wallpaper. I mean, the patterned curtain, and that's from For Rent. I didn't like the brown curtain rail, if you're wondering what I was doing there. I didn't like the dark brown because it just didn't fit with the rest of the room. I wanted like a white curtain rail, and then I had to like make it bigger just to cover it up and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so this is like me diving into the debug items. So, you know, the cute little knitted things. We've got the knitted poofs and like little toys everywhere. And it's just absolutely adorable. So I just wanted to make this a little chaotic and cozy and, you know, really cute. That was just the vibe I was going for with this room and with this class, and I feel like it kind of worked. And the knitted rugs as well, and just all those sort of teals and yellows, just all working really nicely together with like little bits of white and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys with a very short lot of screenshots. It is just a room, so there's not too many screenshots to go through. There are some like little books around the place, so I feel like this is a really good learning zone. And hey, it's up on the gallery if you'd like to download it. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out the hashtag NCC collab to check out some of the other builds in this, or Rainbow Cat Mums gallery as well. Good place to go. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had fun, and remember, if you haven't already, click subscribe. I can't say the word, but you can do it. And maybe you could leave me a like or a comment as well. I mean, that would be really kind. I always appreciate it too, so thank you so much for that. And yeah, please go and check out the other collabs, the collab entries for this. They're fabulous. Thanks for watching, and I will, as always, catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.